Hey everyone, welcome to the Naughty Samurai channel. Today we are going to understand how to deal with duplicate values in our dataset, why they are bad, and why removing them is so important before training a machine learning model. Think of it this way, if you keep telling a student the same example again and again, they won't necessarily learn better. They will just become biased towards that one example. And that's exactly what happens to our models when we leave duplicates in the data. That causes three main problems. Bias in training. The model will give more importance to the repeated data points. For example, if a spam email is duplicated 100 times, the model will think spam always looks like that one example. Overfitting. The model might memorize duplicates instead of generalizing to nuance in data. This reduces its ability to perform well on test data. Wasted resources. Duplicates don't add any new information. Instead, they just make the training process slower and more memory hungry without improving accuracy. Removing duplicates makes our dataset cleaner, ensures every data point has equal importance, and helps our model learn real patterns instead of memorizing noise. That is why duplicate values are bad, and we always clean them before training a machine learning model. Okay, now let's get into handling duplicate values in a dataset. Here are a few of the libraries that we will need. Here is a dataset that I have created, and I stored it into the variable data. Now what we want to do is we want to create a data frame out of it. So we will use the pandas library for that. Import pandas as PD. Next, what we will do is we will write df equals to pd dot data frame, which comes from the pandas library, and within it we will pass the data variable. And now we will run. Now you can see this is our new data set, which is now stored into a data frame. Here you will see some repeating values. So in the column name you will see Naruto has repeated twice and Konoha has been repeating 6 times in total, starting from 0 up until 5. And in the last column, that is favorite jutsu, you can see the word Rasengan repeating as well. And so did medical ninjutsu. So while working with the dataset, what do we really consider as duplicates? We do know that our dataset has columns and rows, so we cannot always consider singular values within a column to be duplicates. In order to work with a dataset, we have to consider a whole row as duplicates. So in order to understand this, we have to take a good look at our own dataset. So let's do that. Here is the dataset that we are using, and here you can see there are 3 columns: name, village, and favorite jutsu. So you can see the first character named Naruto hails from the village Konoha, and his favorite jutsu technique is Rasengan. In the similar manner, there is another character named Sasuke who hails from the village Konoha as well, but his favorite jutsu technique is Chidori. So you can see there is a similarity. They share the same village, and so do the rest of the characters. They all hail from the same village named Konoha, but their names are different and the favorite jutsu techniques are different as well. What if I say you that there is another character named Naruto who hails from the village Konoha as well, but the difference between them is the another Naruto has his favorite jutsu technique, which is Chidori. So will you consider that Naruto and this Naruto over here, whose favorite jutsu is Chidori, to be duplicate rows? No, because even if they have the same name and they hail from the same village, their favorite jutsu technique is different. So we do see that in our day-to-day life. The same character can hail from the same town, but they might have different hobbies. So this thing does not make them same. So in order to consider a row as duplicate, we have to consider all of the column values. So you can see there is a similarity between the first row and the 5th row. There is the character name is Naruto, the village is Konoha, and the favorite jutsu technique is Rasengan. In a similar manner, for the 4th row, we have Naruto as the character, the village name is Konoha, and the favorite technique is Rasengan. So they are duplicate values, and they are duplicate rows, and we can drop any one of them because there is not a singular characteristic that differentiates them. So we will just drop them. But similarly, if there would be a character named Naruto who hails from the village Konoha, but his favorite technique is different, or it can be that he hails from a different village, but his favorite technique is Rasengan. Even then, we won't consider that row to be a duplicate. I hope you guys understood this. So now let's get back into the coding part. So as I told you, we are not going to just drop the values, but we will drop the similar looking rows. So the first row and the 5th row look similar, and again the 3rd row and the 6th row also look similar. So we will drop any one of them. we won't have to do it manually. Our libraries will take care of that for us. Before removing the duplicate rows, let's take a look at the shape of our data set. So we will call the data.shape command, and you can see there are in total 6 rows and 3 columns for now. Now let's remove the duplicate rows. So we will call the drop duplicates command, and within the parenthesis we will pass in place to be true. So what this does is that instead of creating a new data set, it works on the exact same data set that we are working for now. Let's run this, and now let's call our dataset again. Now you can see that the similar looking rows have been removed. So from 6 rows we have been brought down to 4 rows only. Let's call the shape command again, and you will see that now the rows which were 6 previously have changed to 4. So 2 rows have been dropped. This row over here, which talks about the character Naruto hailing from the village Konoha and favorite technique being Rasengan, and the similar pattern Sakura, which repeated in the second row, has also been removed. So this is how the drop duplicate command works. Now let's apply this similar technique into a larger data set. So this is the dataset that I am going to use. I'll be attaching the link to this in the description box below. You can download it directly from KaggleHub. So let me run this cell. This is the dataset that I'm going to work with. What we want to do is we would drop any rows that are similar looking. Before doing that, let's take a look at the shape of our dataset. It says that in total there are 614 rows and 13 columns present. So if we drop any rows, then the number of rows would decrease because there were duplicates present. So now let's apply the drop duplicates command, and within the parenthesis we will pass the inplace parameter and set it to true. Now let's call the data set again. As you can see, our data set is huge and there is no visual manner in which we can tell if any rows were dropped. But what we can do is we can use the shape command, which we will do data.shape. Let's run it, and you can see that the number of rows and columns are still exactly the same as it were previously. There are 614 rows and 13 columns, which means there were actually no duplicated rows that was present in the first place in this data set. So no rows were removed. So this is how we actually deal with the duplicated values, and I really hope you guys understood the concept, and if you did, please do like the video and subscribe to my channel because I would be coming up with more interesting content and I would be continuing this series as well. Until then, keep your mind sharp, your code clean and stay sane. The Naughty Samurai signing off.